Good morning. It is Saturday, October 13th at 6:45 Central Time, 7:45 Eastern Time. And for those of you who are super into it, it's 4:45 on the West Coast. And this is my show, Be Fierce 365. And I'm going to wait just a second for some people to jump on. You know what I'm super excited about today is that I'm finally breaking out and I'm getting an Apple computer. I've had a PC like my whole life, and I've been super afraid to make the change. And my good friend Ken Walls and Frank Lopes have talked me into it. So I don't have the frustration of trying to log on every day, and it takes 10 minutes to start my computer. All right, so my people that have committed to join, it's Lisa Copeland, and I'm so excited you're here. This is my show. It's your show. It is our commitment together to be fierce 365 days a year. I've got a couple of asks of you before we start the show. Ask number one, share it out with your friends. It's no fun to be fierce if you can't take other people with you. Number two, leave me a comment. Let me know you were here today. You know, it's kind of like walking and chewing gum for me. I got to be able to drink my coffee with my fierce mug, got to be able to drink my coffee and be able to talk. And so I'm not going to be able to answer your questions live, but you guys know me. I will go back and I'll answer them. So check in, share this out because you don't want to be fierce by yourself, and show me some love and some hearts and even some unhappy faces if you don't like what I say. And I just want to acknowledge a few people that have made the commitment to get up with me every morning. Angie Yates, Angela Dial, Faye, Rick, Naomi, Stephanie, Marshall, let's see, Aiden, Laura, Melinda. Melinda, where is my chicken lady stuff at HEB? Subaru Steve, Chantal from Canada. Girlfriend is waking up. It's 4:45 in the morning in Canada right now. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. I don't want to waste any of our precious time. So for those of you who, this is your first show, but if you joined us, I am covering the book. My favorite book, the book that changed my life. And you know, when you say a book changes your life, for me, it's because it changes your thinking. It changes your perspective. It changes how you view the world around you. And that's what this book did for me. Outwitting the Devil. It was edited and annotated by my dear friend, Sharon Lecter, who was on the show yesterday. And she talked about what it was like to be handed Napoleon Hill's manuscript that had been in the vault for 75 years. And they were afraid to release it because at the time in 1935 or 38, it was considered so controversial. And Mrs. Hill worked for the Presbyterian Church. I mean, woo! I mean, imagine being controversial in the year 1935. And for those of you who don't know who Napoleon Hill is, he wrote Think and Grow Rich. And it was a collaboration. He interviewed the top 500 top leaders of industry, people like Rockefeller and Henry Ford. And he asked them, what are your secrets to success? And what's crazy, y'all, that book is as relevant today as it was 100 years ago. How come? Because the secrets of success don't change. So this is my fourth time on this book. And so I'm jumping in at chapter 4. And so just to rehash, I want to remind you of something yesterday because I think it's the most important piece. So the book, if you haven't read it, and I know a bunch of you have said that you bought it and that you're getting it, but the book is a conversation between Napoleon Hill and the proverbial devil. And it's Napoleon Hill semi-putting the devil on blast, saying, why do you let these things happen? What is happening in the world? And the devil lets his secrets out. Now, this is not a book about Christianity. This is not a book about religion. It is a book about that inner devil, that angel and that devil that we fight every single day. You know that old do I or don't I? That's what it is. So I'm going to remind you, because I think this is super important. You know, the devil says to Napoleon Hill, the devil starts at a young age instilling limiting thoughts and beliefs. Beliefs and thoughts like fear, superstition, greed, lust, revenge, anger, vanity, and just plain laziness. He gets best. Now, this is so important for every one of you who have got children, grandchildren. people, young people that you love or you breathe into their lives, or if you're a teacher or you're a mentor, if I say nothing else, this is so important. He, meaning the proverbial devil that starts patterns in childhood that people are still in therapy about at 45 and 50 years old, right? Do we know those people? He gets best results when he takes control of young minds. He sets up habits which keep the door ajar forever. What habits were set up in your young life that you're still dealing with today? I think for me, the number one thing was fear. You know, that boogeyman. I used to have this canopy bed, and it was like really high off the ground. And then I had these like really strong panel doors. And like my bed was like this high off the ground. And I can remember when I was young, just getting in my bed and like peeking under the bed to make, because it was big enough that like you could have stacked 2 people under that bed. And I had no reason to be fearful. I mean, I had a great childhood. Nothing bad happened to me. Why was I so afraid of that boogeyman under the bed? You know, and to this day, I don't like walking into a building by myself. I don't like walking down a street by myself. I don't like walking into my house at night if we forgot to set the alarm. What is it that gets in your head? But think about it, y'all. It starts at a young age. What are those things that of those traits that the devil, the proverbial devil, says in Outwitting the Devil that we're still carrying today? The vanity. I don't have much vanity at 6:45 in the morning, but I'm telling you, 5 years ago, I would not have gotten on blast to the world with a baseball hat and very little makeup on, but I do have lipstick because there are some things that are non-negotiables in my world, and one of those is my lipstick and my coffee. Okay, vanity will keep us down because as a child, maybe we were told, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough. How about anger? How about revenge? I mean, revenge can eat us alive if we let it. You know, I've had to learn how to just put some things on the shelf over the years that, you know, I've been wronged or whatever. And, you know, I can either choose to live in it or wallow in it, or I can move on and say, those people are dead to me. They are not my people. So if you're dealing with that today, I want to encourage you. You've got to read this book. So Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, annotated and edited by Sharon Lecter. That's what I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks on. But I want to talk about today, because I'm really into this chapter, and this is one, you know, this is my 4th time to read this book. This is one that I go back to and back to and back to. You know, people say, Lisa, what do you do? I'm a sales strategist. I'm not a trainer. I'm a consultant, but more so I'm a strategist. I go into Fortune 500 companies, a lot of Fortune 5s. You guys see my pictures from around the country. And every one of them bring me in because they've got one problem. One problem. They're stuck. They're stuck. Either their sales team is going backwards, or their sales are going backwards, or the team itself is stuck. They're not moving forward. That's my superpower, is to get people unstuck. And it's taken me so long to figure that out, and hired consultants and all the things I've done, but I get people unstuck. It's what I love to do. So I want to talk today about drifters. And this is what Outwitting the Devil says about drifters. Those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. Those who do little or no thinking, excuse me, those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. Now, I know every single one of you on this, you think for yourself. That's why you got up and you joined. And speaking of that, those who've joined, hey, better late than never. I'm going to ask you guys to share this out to your friends. Leave me a comment. Let me know you showed up this morning. Let's beat those Facebook algorithms. Let's like it. Let's love it. Show me some hearts. Show me some thumbs up. Show me some unhappy faces if you think I'm off track. But I'm talking today about being a drifter. Those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his control. Okay, that is when we let stuff from the past define who we are, when we don't rise above it. You know, I was talking to a very dear friend of mine yesterday, and he's got a family situation going on. And, you know, he made the decision. He said, I'm not going to let this define my family or the person in my family. This person in my family is going to get through this, and they're going to rise above. And not only are they going to rise above, but they're going to make it their testimony. They're going to make it their legacy. Because see, everybody stubs their toe in life. It happens. But it's what you do with that adversity. The way you rise above the adversity is what will define you and what will define your legacy. Think about all the people who are on the speaking circuit, who have written books. You know, they've been in prison, they've done this, they've done that, and now they come out and they're the most motivational person in the world. Who the heck wants to sit and listen to somebody who hasn't been through the fire themselves? You know, who hasn't been through the fire themselves. I would much rather talk to somebody and spend my time talking to somebody who's gone through adversity and rose above it and succeeded and crushed it, and then are using that experience to help others succeed. Oh yeah, I'm all about those people. And one of the things, and so you know, Hill talks about in this chapter, and this is page 80 in chapter 4 of Drifters. He says, you know, the devil says, excuse me, once I capture the mind of a child through fear and weaken that child's ability to reason, to think for himself, and that weakness goes all through life. Oh, it's so powerful. How many things are we bound up in? And fear to me is number one for everybody I meet. You know, false evidence appearing real, but I like to say it's to face everything and rise. That's what fear is. It's hard to bust through. It's hard to fear less. It's hard to take that step when we're afraid of people not liking us. Approval addiction, which I talk about in Fierce, right? It's afraid because, you know, you think you're not worthy, you're not good enough for that promotion, you're not good enough for that man or that woman that you want to meet or you want to marry. Whatever it is, fear is the number one thing that binds us up. But Napoleon Hill talks about it, is that the devil, the proverbial devil inside of you, they will capture your mind as a child. And through fear, 1,000,000% through fear, they will weaken that child's ability to reason and to think for himself. But more importantly, that weakness goes through all of your lifetime. Boom. How powerful is that? Now that we know what the proverbial devil's secret is, that basically the way I read this and the way that I interpret this is that that we, you know, the whole premise behind that is that we are still held back about things that bothered us or things that controlled us in childhood. And that is mind control. That is being a drifter. That is not setting things on a shelf and moving forward. I want to jump in and see what you guys have to say about this. Give me some comments. Hey, Dan Moore, Michelle, Anthony, Jeremy, Dawn, Vicky. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Thank you. Because you know why, Michelle? Because we have a fear of failure. That's why so many people don't move forward. That's why people don't ask for the promotion. That's why people don't put out their big idea, because they fear that they will be rejected. And that starts at childhood, doesn't it? You know, going to school and, you know, and not being popular, or, you know, people shunning you because you look different or because you wear glasses. And I kind of want to wrap this morning, because, you know, I'm wrapping in 15 minutes because guess what? I'm going to be back tomorrow. But like I said, Sharon Lechter annotated the book. And so annotating means that she gave her notes or her summary. And here's what she said about drifters in this chapter. I think it's powerful. This is Sharon Lechter. The devil will enter a child's mind through fear and then limit the child's power to think independently. I can remember many religious leaders I have known in the past and instantly divide them between fear-based and faith-based instructors. In fact, I still get a chill from reliving the fire and brimstone of some of the fear-based sermons I heard as a child. In contrast, I remember the uplifting feeling of hope and courage from faith-based sermons. Hill's words of wisdom certainly ring true for me. This is the question I want you to ask yourself today, and I'm going to leave it with this. Does fear then paralyze an independent thought? Does fear paralyze you or your independent thoughts? Does fear keep you or hold you back from being all you can be? We're going to keep talking about this every single day. I love this. Okay, everybody, as we sign off, I promised 15 minutes. I'm going to go back in and answer your questions. Sean, thank you for being here. Brannon, Subaru, Steve, mwah, mwah, I love you. Please share this out. Please let me know that you were here. Leave your comments. You know, do the thumbs up, the hearts, the unhappy faces, whatever it is, because we got to trick the Subaru and the Subaru God. This is what I'm thinking about. We have to trick that Facebook algorithm because we want everybody to hear this message. I don't want anybody stuck anymore. I want you to be fierce. 365. I will see you tomorrow, Sunday morning, October 14th. Be fierce.